have started the recording already, so for those of you listening to the recording, you'll have a little bit of silence here for about a minute. So Rasha and Joanne, if either one of you hear anything weird, you should come on and let me know. Don't text me or anything because I won't be able to notice that. It is now 6:30. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the call. I am muting everyone on the call at this moment.
You are now muted.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Complete Satisfaction coaching call. Now, we have a number of different people on the line, and I want to acknowledge each of those different folks. So the first group that I want to acknowledge are those of you who have chosen to join us on this monthly call. You're not participating in anything else that we do, which I appreciate your being here, so welcome to the call. I also want to welcome the participants that are in my current workshop series. Thank you and welcome to the call. And then the couples who are participating in the Date Night Project. Thank you for being on the call. I'm very happy to be with each and every one of you. It's an honor and a pleasure to lead this call and to be with you this evening. Now, the call is currently muted. Excuse me. I'm going to create a few points, and then I'll open the call. Now, when I open the call, I'll let you know. And keep in mind that you can be heard. So keep your background noise to a minimum, or you could simply mute your own phone using its own mute design. You could do that. Another thing I just wanted to mention for everyone, this is an interactive call. Now, I know not everybody likes to share. I get that. But the sharing is critical to the content, and it's critical to the benefit that the call provides. So be prepared to jump in if you feel it. And if you don't, by all means, you being here is really all that matters. Now, given that we're focused on complete satisfaction, your sharing can include anything from what I happen to put in or whatever you bring to the conversation that you might want to interact regarding. So it's pretty wide open, the work that we'll do together, the coaching and interactions that we'll have. I'll take on the job of making it all connect somehow. How you share when it comes time is you simply say your first name, and I'll call on you. And I'll let you know when that time comes. Okay, thank you. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping. Complete satisfaction. As human beings, it is understood by most of us that you and I are never completely satisfied. In some ways, you might even say we're never satisfied. Though we do put forth, lots of energy and lots of effort in the pursuit. Take a look at your own life and just think about this past week and the amount of energy and effort you put in to satisfaction, whether it be avoiding painful moments and trying to have pleasurable moments, or it might be just trying to obtain something, or is it attain something, that you think you want that would have you be more satisfied than you are. It is rather hopeless in a sense this pursuit of satisfaction. Part of being human, just the humanness, is that we are always dissatisfied with something. And if we do have a moment, think about this for yourself. If we do have a moment of complete satisfaction, how does that make you feel? I mean, for most of us, it's a very uncomfortable moment. I've had some people that I would coach and work with, and we talk about these moments of satisfaction, and one of the things that they report to me is waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm sure many of you can relate to that experience or feeling. I think we might have an addiction to the chase. What do you think? I'm not certain about that, but for sure, we all run after this elusive satisfaction. And while the beingness of human being, so there's the humanness of human being and the beingness of human being, while the beingness is always in a satisfied state, it's insufficient to maintain the luxury of pure existence. Why? Well, consider that you and I are in human form and we exist in a physical realm. Therefore, being by itself is never going to happen. Or if it does, it's momentary. A little glimpse here and there. For you and I, you just have to own there's always something lacking, be it peace of mind, companionship, friendship, love, pleasure, not to mention the wide range of physical things. Why then would I have this conversation with you? A conversation called complete satisfaction. Why do you and I even pretend that such a plateau is attainable? Well, I am of the mind that satisfaction is attainable when we get clear about, accept, and understand the nature of satisfaction and its elusiveness. Now, I'm going to say that again. I am of the mind that satisfaction is attainable only if and only you and I get clear about, accept, and understand the nature of satisfaction being elusive. Consider that once you and I give up the chase, and once you and I are clear about the nature of satisfaction, then and only then can we play the satisfaction game, because it's then that we play by the rules, the real rules, not the ones we wish for, not the ones we hope for, but the rules of satisfaction as they are. So try this on. All discomfort, all suffering are fueled not by what we lack. Now I'm going to say that again because I messed it up. But all discomfort and suffering are fueled not by what we lack, not by what's happening, not even by our conditioning about what's happening. No. All discomfort and suffering, I'm asking you to try on to consider that it's not by our conditioning, but rather by what we are resisting. Resistance is the source of all discomfort. I know it's hard to get our heads wrapped around, right? I mean, it is. because, I was talking to Joanne earlier and she mentioned her resistance to resistance. And consider that there's nobody on the call that doesn't relate to resisting resistance. You see, there is what's happening, reality, if you will. And we, you and I, experience what's happening. Now, our experience is conditioned. We are conditioned to a particular kind of experience. That experience, though, be it suffering or dissatisfaction, has to do with meeting that same conditioning with resistance. So one has only the option of being with what's so, that is, what's happening in this very moment, completely as it is, without trying to change it, or the other option is to resist it. So I'm going to say that again. You have one option of being with what's so, that is, happening in this very moment, completely as it is, without trying to change it. While the other option is to resist it. Now keep in mind, this is important. Resisting doesn't in fact change anything except your experience. Think about that. Being with leaves you satisfied, while resisting leaves you suffering. It is as simple as that. It may not sound appealing, but it is the practice that gives our humanness, the possibility of complete satisfaction. Now, I know I've said a lot in these last 10 minutes, and thank you for being present. And for those of you who haven't been present, get present. Just bring yourself back to the call. I know how easy it is to drift away. Come back to the call and take a moment. Seriously, I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to time a minute, and I want you to think back over this past week. Thursday, November 12th through today, Thursday, November 19th. 1 week. What can you see that you've resisted? Where have you had dissatisfaction? Where have you suffered? I'm going to give you 1 minute to think it over, and then I'm going to open the line, and I'd like to hear from a couple of you, and we're just going to interact a little bit on this concept. And keep in mind that you may have something else you want to put in, and I am completely open to that as well. The minute begins now.
You are now unmuted.
$15 seconds. The lines are now open. Simply say your first name, and let's put some sharing on the mat.
Jean.
What? Yes, Jean. Good evening, my darling. Welcome to
Hi,
the call.
hi. Thank you. You know, it's very interesting for me to look at it because there's so many places where, in really looking at it, that my dissatisfaction, my upset, or whatever really, I mean, I see it with traffic, simple things, driving.
Yeah,
people are not going fast enough. They're in my way.
Yes. So you want to just take that one on and just take a look, or is there something else?
Sure.
Well, no, you said and even, so now you got me curious. What's the and even?
Well, what I was going to say is that, I look at my birthday was Friday, and
happy birthday.
Thank you. But what I really noticed is, like, I set up my day to go with the flow. I said, whatever happens today is totally fine and great, and I'm just going to go with the flow. And it didn't matter. It really didn't matter what happened. I just had a great day. All kinds of things happened, but I didn't have upset at any of it. And then I met someone on Sunday, and we had a conversation, and I was really upset. I was really upset. Like, I didn't like what he said, so many things of what he said.
Yeah, very good. Got it. Well, we'll start off just talking about driving and traffic, because given we live in California, of course I blame it on California, but I guess it could be anywhere. I think it's pretty consistent that people resist traffic, resist other drivers, resist what it takes to get from point A to point B. We think it should be faster. So when you look fundamentally just at driving in traffic, what are the three components that you blame your dissatisfaction on? I did hear one. One was they are in my way. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's two more?
Put
yourself in the driver's seat.
Well, I certainly often blame myself because I'm running late.
Running late. Okay, they're in my way and I'm running late. Doesn't matter about blame, okay? I'm running late.
Okay.
Very good. Everybody can relate to, everybody's in my way. Everybody can relate to I'm running late. What's one more thing?
They're not going fast enough.
All right, not fast enough. Good, fine. So we have three things here. They're in my way, I'm running late, they're not fast enough. One that I would add for myself, too many lights. The lights are too long. See, it doesn't even involve other people now. It's just now matter of fact. Right? There's too many frickin' red lights, and I'm hitting them all. The lights are too long. And what about running into a train? How about that? Another possible complaint. Now, everybody on the call, there's not a single person who can't relate to traffic and driving as a point of dissatisfaction and suffering. So, Gene, I'm just going to use you. Here you are, you're in the car, and we're now going to transform the dissatisfaction and suffering. So what is the first thing, just based on the conversation we've had so far, what is the first thing you might do to cause this transformation?
Well, I guess what comes up for me is, like you had said, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is.
Okay, it is what it is. Pardon me?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I cleared my throat. You said it is what it is, and then you said something else.
Well, I just say I can't remember even my first three things that I was saying.
It doesn't even matter. But there was what I thought you were going to say is something like it is what it is, and I really can't change it.
Well, and that's true.
It is true, but I want everybody to get as true as it is and as logical as it is, it actually reinforces the resistance. Yeah, the statement, I can't change it, reinforces the resistance. Now, being with it is the access to freedom, absolutely. But before I can do that, I've got to notice that I am trying to change now. Now listen, everybody, in this moment, right now, each and every one of you are on this call. And while you're on this call, is this the only thing going on around you? No. There's a lot of other things going on around you. But in this moment of now, is there anything in this moment that can be changed? No. Because anything I try to change now has already passed. I am dealing with unchangeable circumstances. Whatever is right now. And if I can practice being with what is, just the way it is, that is, the drivers are driving the way they drive. And they are on the road. And in fact, they really are in my way. You know, in some coaching, they might say, well, shift your idea or the story about them being in your way. And that would be an access to more momentary relief. But the truth is, they really are. But if I just be with what is, the way that it is, I not only get freed up in that moment from the discomfort and the suffering, I now have energy for creativity. And something new is available in the next moment of now that wouldn't have been. Now, looking back on something, it's all made up. You know, I can look back and say, wow, if I had just given up my resistance, A, B, or C would have been possible. And that's one valuable way to look at something. But in this kind of looking, I'm just asking you to see what it would take, Gene, as a practice, a one-day practice tomorrow. I'm not asking you to do a week. I'm not asking you to do the rest of your life. I'm asking you to take on a one-day practice tomorrow while you're driving to give up resisting anything going on around you or with you. And by the with you, you see, you might be running late. And now you're going to have to learn how to be with, I'm running late. Would you take that on as a practice? One day.
Yes, I will.
Just tomorrow.
Yeah, I will.
Perfect. Thank you. And then you email me the results at the end of the day. It could be around 6 p.m. would be perfect.
Okay.
Or text, whatever works for you. Thank you, Gene. That was very, very good. I appreciate your interaction. One more person, please.
Joanne.
Hey, Joanne. Good to hear your beautiful voice as well. Welcome to the call.
I'm resisting coaching.
I want to acknowledge something as I talk over you. I'm sorry. I just want to acknowledge that, you know, for those of you who don't know, you know, I've been leading these calls for about 3 years, and Joanne has been on every single call I've ever done. So I just want to acknowledge you, Joanne, and thank you for your participation at that level. Everything that you contribute. Okay, now, your deal.
Well, I'm just noticing I'm resisting the coaching you gave her. I was hoping you would give her a strategy to deal with it. I just...
That's good, I got it.
Leave earlier, then, you know, or take a different route, or don't make an appointment, or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I got it. I don't know that there's much I can say about that, but I do get it. Absolutely do get it. Because you and I are that life should be a particular way. It should be easier. There should be a recipe. There should be a strategy. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And I
Anything
notice
else?
I have a resistance almost all the time. It seems like I resist going to bed. I resist getting up. I resist sometimes taking my shower and getting dressed. I resisted going to Costco this week, and so I delayed it a day. For really no reason other than I was like, well, it's cold and wet. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. You know?
Yeah,
because I'm not
very
in California.
Good. Well, you know, it is an interesting thing, something that you just said, that we resist and then we look for a story to justify our resistance.
Yeah.
I'm just making a note here for myself. Okay. So, Joanne, let's take a look at a practice that you could take on just for tomorrow. And actually, how about if you start tonight and you just notice the resistance you have to go into bed. Somebody needs to be quiet. Somebody is scratching something. You're moving paper. Something's happening. Thank you. You're going to bed tonight, and notice the resistance and then give it up. Now listen, everybody. You could notice the resistance and then get pissed off, and then you resist the resistance. And that's just going to create a vicious circle. The idea here is I notice the resistance. Why? Because I'm a human being. And then give it up. Go to bed. Notice in the morning when you wake up, any resistance. Give it up. Notice getting in the shower tomorrow, putting yourself together. Give it up. Just for one day. Will you do that, Joanne, tonight and tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And will you report to me by bedtime tomorrow night?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, either by text or by email, your choice. Very good. Thank you. I think that was satisfactory to move us along. I'm going to mute the lines.
You are now muted.
Everybody is now muted again. Thank you for your sharing. We're now going to embark on one method. And this, Joanne, I like this because it is a little bit of a strategy. We're going to embark on one method of reducing resistance with another person, especially people that you love. It might be a partner, husband, wife, your children, your parents, close, intimate friends. And that is empathic or reflective listening. That is hearing with your heart. Dr. Stephen Covey says, being understood by others is the greatest need of all. He also describes empathic listening, or what I also like to refer to as reflective listening, as reflecting what a person feels and says in your own words to their satisfaction, so that they feel listened to and understood. Now, reflective listening or empathic listening is not listening to advise. It's not listening to counsel. It's not listening to replay or parrot back. It's not intended to refute, solve, fix, change, judge. It's not even about you agreeing or disagreeing. It isn't about questioning, analyzing, or even figuring it out. It is about opening your heart fully to what's being communicated. Some of the communication in words, while other parts of the communication nonverbal. It's about giving up, resisting being with another human being. And notice, everybody, the closer you are, the more you let someone in your circle, generally, the more resistance that comes up. See, I think a part of it has to do with you begin to notice elements of yourself in another, parts of your personality that maybe you've disowned or don't like, and they become loud or amplified in someone who's close to you, and you will almost automatically, like a conditioning effect, start resisting how they're being or what they're saying. When you take on this practice of empathic listening, you automatically reduce resistance. It's literally a have to in order to actually do the practice. And what it looks like is your full attention. What it looks like is turning your body as well as your face towards them and making gentle eye contact. That's what it looks like. It looks like repeating back what's said from time to time, summarizing the content. You might use key words from what they said, but then you'll rephrase using your own words just to clarify. You're going to acknowledge feelings that have been implied but not expressed, and you're going to just keep looking for clarification. That's what it looks like. What it sounds like is a lot of you statements. You'll use words like I, me, my, mine, myself, but as well and more often you're going to use you, your, yourself, us, we, and our equally during a typical interaction. And you're going to feel and exhibit genuine interest, respect, and empathy. I want to talk a little bit about genuine interest. You know, sometimes, especially in the beginning when you really practice empathic listening, you might notice that your interest has to be generated. In other words, it may not be there automatically. You may have an interest in that person. Like there are people in my life that I love, and what they're interested in as far as topics may not be a genuine interest of mine. And I have to generate that interest. Why? Because of my interest in them. Now, listen closely, because you and I, we live in a multitasking nation. You know, we cook while we talk, and at the same time we have an ear out for what's on the news. Some of us drive while we're checking our text messages. We might listen to what someone's saying, but we're grunting in response. The most you can hope for when you're half listening is information. You know, you're able to say, the person might say to you, hey, you're not really here. You're not really listening. And then you can say, oh, yeah, I am. You just told me that you went shopping today and you bought avocados for 50 cents a piece. And for you, that leaves you off the hook, like the charges are dropped, the trial's acquitted. But I want you to know that the acquittal is a freaking booby prize because everybody loses. Real communication is abandoned. This way of spreading attention over a wide array of stimuli is a primary cause of stress, dissatisfaction, discomfort, and suffering, and it also deprives us of being fully satisfied by any of it. As you and I slide through interactions by making the correct kinds of grunting sounds at the right time, this might be a good time to make sure that you're listening. So I hope that if you drifted off, come back, please. This does pertain to you. Okay? So as we slide through interactions by making the correct kinds of grunting sounds at the right time, we also deprive those speaking to us of what they crave most. And what do you think they crave most? Your full attention. So is the satisfaction, here's a real question for you to ponder and scratch a few notes from this question. is the satisfaction you and I seek at the level of desire and longing, is that to be listened to? Or is that satisfaction gained by actually listening? I think this is a very valid inquiry, because you see, a lot of what I'm giving you right now has to do with you being the active listener as a generosity, if you will, as a gift to the speaker. But now I want you to really look deeply. Is the satisfaction really being listened to? Or is there a level of satisfaction that you and I haven't even considered that we get to experience as the person who's offering this kind of listening? Take about 30 seconds just to let whatever comes to your mind get on paper regarding that inquiry. The 30 seconds begins now. Okay, very good. You can continue scratching things down, of course. Excuse me, as I continue. I'm not going to open the lines just yet. But I really want this aspect of the conversation to be very loud for you. It's like, around the holidays, a lot of us are giving gifts and what have you, and, we're trained or taught very early on that it's not the receiving, but the giving, and for many of us, it really is that, right? You really, when you give and whatever you give is really thought from the heart, you're excited, and when it lights up the person you've given it to, wow, what a great experience. But I don't know that we've ever dealt with this aspect of our humanness in that same regard. When you listen completely, with nothing else going on, it becomes more than listening. If you give your full attention, think about this, please. You give your full attention, the person in front of you becomes fascinating, multidimensional even, no matter what the topic. Whether it's something you're genuinely interested in or you had to generate the interest. If you've really given your full self, there is something over there that gets seen that can't be experienced any other way. When you stop everything and bring yourself fully to another human being, a little bit of that will go a long way. You see, this is what everybody's longing for. It's immensely nourishing to be fully received, and it's immensely nourishing to give your all, even if it's just a few minutes at a time. So I'm going to offer you a practice. Get this practice from Arjuna Ardha. I love this practice. I've given it to many of my clients. We've used it in the workshop. It never gets old. And you don't need to do this practice all the time in order for it to bring huge benefit, not only to you but the listener. I mean, not only to you as the listener, but also the person speaking. If you're not immediately available, then you just ask for a few minutes, then you come back and then listen with totality. Even 5 or 10 minutes is often enough. And so here's how this goes. When your partner or family member or close friend or anybody close to you is speaking to you, whether it be they're telling you a story lodging a complaint, or sharing feelings. Give your undivided attention. That's going to take practice, because you and I have practiced many years of being distracted, and we've practiced many years of multitasking. Listen with all of you. Now, the first time I heard that statement, listen with all of you, I just don't know that I could get my head wrapped around it. So you might want to listen to this call again, because it is recorded. And it'd be worth your while, because if you hear everything that we've gone through, there is a lot of gold in this conversation. Listen with all of you. Listen with your ears. Now, you and I have always learned to listen with our ears. And the good news about our ears is they work automatically. As long as your ears are in good shape and you're healthy, they work automatically, so you don't have to force that. You just have to bring awareness to what's coming to your ears. Listen with your heart. Yeah, that's going to be an inquiry for you. Like, what the hell is listening with my heart? What is that really? And on next month's call, we're going to dig a little deeper into listening with our heart. But in the meantime, you should practice and dig around for yourself. Google it. Look at other people's ideas around that kind of listening. What would it look like or feel like to listen with your skin? Wow. Like really absorbing who they are, what they're communicating, who they're being. What about your breath? Listen with your breath. Listen with all of you, with your ears, with your heart, with your skin, with your breath. Pay attention so completely that everything else disappears. Don't just listen to the words, but to the mysterious presence from which those words arise. Listen to the sound of their voice, to the inflections, and then listen to the silence between the words. Listen to what's not being said, but what you can sense. That's the practice I'm asking you to take on this month, that kind of listening. And in giving absolute attention, you become the beloved for which the heart has always longed. So any interaction where you're able and that you can be available in this way, do it for as long as practical, and then move on with your day. Whenever you're able to listen, listen with all of you.
You are now unmuted.
I've opened the lines. I want to give you an opportunity to share or request any coaching and anything that you might be dealing with. And then I'm going to give you an exercise we'll do together to complete the call. So just say your first name, and I'll call on you. Who'd like to share?
Charlie?
Charlie, baby. Good evening, my friend.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, everyone.
Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as part of our homework, I have been practicing listening.
Yes.
And what I've noticed is that when I'm really focused on listening, my awareness expands.
Good, good. And when your awareness expands, what's that experience for you?
I might hear little pauses in their speaking, or there might be some kind of body movement, and I'm trying to decipher if that means anything. Those kind of things. But it does seem...
very good.
I don't want to say that everything else disappears, but it's like that it's starting to happen.
Gotcha.
Like
it's a new practice.
It seems like everything gets quiet.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Charlie, for a couple things. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. thank you for taking on the homework and really practicing. And everybody on the call, if you'll practice this for the next month, you will see things about yourself that you didn't realize, things that you might be willing to transform for the rest of your life. Thanks, Charlie. Really good work.
Thank you.
Somebody else, just say your name and I'll call on you.
Joanne?
Blanca? Oh,
Blanca, darling. Welcome. Are you still in Mexico or are you back?
no, I'm back.
Yay, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to hear your beautiful voice. Thank you for being on the call.
You're welcome. My pleasure. For me, the listening it's like I open myself to listen, but the other person don't. So it's almost like we cannot complete a conversation, and then I put resistance because then I feel frustrated, and then I think my whole thing is to keep listening, right? And then, despite of all the other person, I guess my question is, how do I keep listening, being completely enrolled in a conversation that is just one way?
Yes, I understand. Okay, good. This is a good thing to bring up, Blanca. Thank you for bringing it up, because I'm sure everybody deals with this at some level. And if they haven't said it, they might even be thinking about a particular person that might dominate their interactions. So here's the thing about this kind of listening. I'm going to train you in a concept called emotions running high or low. We refer to it as above the ears or below the ears. So when emotions are running high, so for instance, Blanca, the person that you're talking to, the emotions are running high. You understand what I mean? They're running high.
Right.
They're emotional.
Right.
They're highly emotional. And when somebody's highly emotional, are they very reasonable during that time?
No.
Not usually, right?
No.
So if I'm going to offer them my listening, I have to keep my emotions low. So, it takes a practice, okay? Because all of us have been raised, we've all been raised in a culture where if somebody else's emotions run high, we raise our emotions to equal theirs. It's almost automatic. It's an argumentative society. So you and I, we want to train ourselves to manage our emotional level. If someone we're dealing with, if their emotions are running high, we want to keep ours low and listen with all our heart. And this kind of listening, in this case, Blanca, you're not trying to have anything change. You're merely listening. In fact, you may not offer much at all. You might just reflect back a few times. You might say, so is this what I hear you saying? You don't love me anymore? Making them think, but not being argumentative. Are you saying that you'd rather, so do I hear you say that you'd rather be somewhere else? Okay, I understand, like that. And you're good at that, Blanca. I know you are, but I also know the person that you're talking about. And when those emotions are running really high, that individual is very good about dragging you into it. And now you're just going to practice not to let that happen.
Right.
Does that help?
Perfect. Yes.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for stepping in. Anybody else? I got time for one more.
Joanne?
Yeah, Joanne.
I have had moments like this where I've had that completely tuned in listening. And when I've had that, what I notice is love just becomes so present. And it usually happens when something really serious happens for someone and they're sharing and dealing with that. And they're just sharing from their heart. And when I listen from my heart, I just get so present to how much I love them and why. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, and this doesn't minimize any relationship I have or anybody else on the call, but of all the people that I know, Joanne, you are one of the best listeners I think that I know. You really do practice at a very high level. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody, for the sharing. I'm now going to put you on mute, and I'm going to lead you through a very short exercise that you'll enjoy and get a lot of value out of. It will support you in learning how to let go of resistance by noticing how you hold it in your body. So I'm putting you on mute now.
You are now muted.
So wherever you are, as long as you're not driving a car, please relax. Get yourself in a very comfortable position. And scan your body with awareness. Just scan your body with your awareness. And as you scan your body, whether you start at the tip of your toes and work up, or you start at the top of your head and work down, seek a place of tension or discomfort in your body. So scan your body now with awareness and seek out a place of tension or discomfort. Very good. Now rest there with your attention. So no longer scan. I want you to leave your awareness and your attention in that place of tension and discomfort. I want you to feel this place, this area of your body. Feel it exactly as it is. Feel it. Be with it just as it is. I want you to feel it, not so that it will go away, you understand, but with an invitation that it may stay forever. Now lightly kiss the tension with the softness of your awareness. Don't forget to breathe. In fact, bring your breath all the way into this place. Continue just to breathe into this place, staying aware of it as though you're pouring water into a dry sponge. Wait there. Don't forget to breathe. Linger. Imagine now the sponge is completely full, and imagine like a flower opening up in that area. Stay there until your awareness is completely there. Good work. Very good. Now, scan your body one more time, and I want you to move on to another place of tension or discomfort. Please move your awareness to another place of tension or discomfort and rest there with your attention and your awareness. Feel this new place exactly as it is. Feel it. Be with it. Just as it is. Feel it not so that it will go away, but with an invitation that it may stay forever, just the way it is. Kiss that tension with the softness of your awareness and bring your breath all the way into this place. Breathe it in nice and gently. Don't rush. Don't force anything. Everything is perfect just the way it is. The tension, the discomfort just wants attention. So wait there. Linger there. Breathe into it just like pouring water into a dry sponge. Imagine now the opening of a flower. Wait. Linger until your awareness is completely there. And now gently breathe and bring your attention to your heart. Come to your heart space. Bring your attention there. generate the experience of gratitude. Gratitude for being. Gratitude for being here right now, just the way you are, just the way you're not, alive. Thank you. You and I generally have an unfriendly relationship to sensations in our body. Tension and pain are your body's cry for attention. It's just like a newborn baby screaming out. It doesn't know any words, but it needs attention. When you try to ignore the body's signals or resist what's there, whether it be with painkillers or just blocking it out through distraction, you cut off your connection to what's real. So this practice gives you the opportunity to bring attention where attention is necessary, and you'll notice resistance always shows up in your body. So if you learn where resistance shows up in your body, as you're practicing giving up resistance, you can start there, and it makes it easier to give up resistance on the outside. Thank you very, very much for taking the time and being on this call with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you, honor you, and respect you. I look forward to being with you next month, which is December. Give me a second here. I usually have it in front of me, but I don't. Just open the calendar. All right, December the 17th. So December 17th, 6:30 p.m., same telephone number. Invite anybody you like to be on the call. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.